I think the Russians are doing everything they potentially and possibly can to get Trump out of office. The problem is that in the states that Trump won, that was the Electoral College gave him the over-the-top amount to be president, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Wisconsin and Michigan. Listen, black people and Muslims by the millions stayed home in those states. In Pennsylvania alone, the number of black people that stayed home in those states would wipe out Arkansas, Mississippi, and Kentucky. The number of black people that stayed home who just didn't vote for Hillary, they're gonna vote. No, they're gonna vote. And Muslim too, they're gonna vote. No, they ain't staying home this time. They ain't staying home. And even with all of the attempts of Russia to try to, because Russia's not gonna try to jerry-rig California and say Trump won California. They may be crazy, but they ain't that crazy. Or New York, or Massachusetts. They're not going to do that. They're going to go after, again, those same 3 states. And perhaps they're going to look closely at Florida. Trump moved to Florida because he knows that he's razor thin in Florida. They're going to go after Florida, North Carolina, potentially Virginia, but definitely Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. But black folk are going to come out like you ain't never seen black folk vote in the 2020 election. And that's why they keep saying Joe Biden, because you put that Buttigieg boy up there, they'll vote for Buttigieg to get Trump out of there. They'll hold their nose and they'll vote for Buttigieg. I'm telling you, no, they will. I'm telling you, talking in tongue Pentecostals, fire-breathing, Bible-toting believers will vote for Buttigieg. Get Trump out of there. They'll vote for Buttigieg. They'll send him an offering. Well, they won't give an offering to their pastor, but they give an offering to Buttigieg if he can beat Trump. If he can beat Trump, they'll send that boy an offering from the Pentecostals of America. No, he's gone. He's gone. There's nothing you can argue about that. They'll argue he's gone. So what's going to happen? He can flee to Russia like Yanukovych did from, when he lost his authority there in the Ukraine and took $40 billion. That boy had, his house looked like Michael Jackson's house. He had animals all over the swimming pools. He had all kinds of stuff. This Yanukovych boy, right? Took $40 billion with him to Russia when he left. I think that Trump may be looking at potentially the same thing. I think Russia is probably maybe willing to receive him, but I don't know that they will. Putin may not want Trump there because it's bad because Trump is boisterous. It will cause America to declare war against Trump, against Russia for harboring a fugitive from justice in America. And Putin may not want that. He may not want that press. He may not want that publicity. And it'll cause all the other European nations and NATO to rise up in mass against Russia if they're harboring a fugitive from justice in Russia, where if Trump runs to Russia and takes his family over there with him, because they're going to go to jail too. So I think it's important that we consider these things. Let me just back up here for a moment, and I promise not to inflict myself upon you any further. It doesn't matter what happens from now. The House could vote to impeach him. I think they will, but they may not. There could be threats. People could have skeletons in their closet that nobody knows about, but the powers that be knows about them, and they say, we're going to put this up on the front page of the newspaper. You vote against Trump, your stuff is going on the front page of the newspaper. That's how that works. You know that works that way, right? Or they can just say, you're going to lose your seat. And donors, people that gave them money, say, you ain't getting another dime from us to run your next campaign in 2020. You vote against Trump. So they may not do it. I think that they will, but potentially may not. But the other thing is this, is that if they do or they don't, the nation explodes. It just does. And I think it'll be worse if they don't. I think the world would explode if they don't. But let's say they do, and it goes to the Senate, and the Senate rejects it, does not convict. Like Bill Clinton, he walks away. But he's got that scar of the impeachment on him. The world, if the Senate, if those senators sat up there in that Senate and say what Trump did in obstructing justice with Mueller, obstructing Congress by refusing to turn over one document, one piece of paper, if they stand up there and say out of their mouths with their vote that that was okay for a president to do that, then it's all over with for them. It's all over with for them. They won't be getting elected dog catcher in Mississippi. John Kennedy will be looking for a place, a shelter to stay in. If they do that, if they do that, then enough people come in and vote them out of office. So they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. We're in the tribulation is what I'm trying to tell you. Get your house in order. Put your ducks in a row. We are in the tribulation. So there is no good scenario here. There's nothing good. After yesterday, all bets are off. There's nothing good. Get your house in order. Get right with God and do it now. Because there is no good scenario. There is nothing. There's no good thing. And America, by the way, with Trump gone, is going to collapse. America's not going to all of a sudden, revive herself. There's going to be a renaissance, a Roman renaissance, or, a European renaissance. It's all over with for America. The tribulation is here. It's all over with. The Civil War lasted, I think, a total of 4 years. The acrimony after that continues to this very day. Jim Crow, civil rights, the rise of the Ku Klux Klan, riots, the acrimony of the issue of slavery resonates even to this very day. So, but it's worse now because at least in the South, the Japheth man was in control. Hell, you go down South now, they got more black police officers, black judges sitting in black robes, sitting up in white courts. They didn't have that during the Civil War or shortly thereafter. So he stayed in control. He made all the decisions. And you could, but not now. It's all over with. So I think it's important that, and I'm here to give you what I know to be the truth. I guess you've gotten all the details about what took place on yesterday and what Trump has said and how he said it. But I just want to give you the background. The background behind this is white supremacy. And Trump is not a white supremacist. Trump is just a racist, but he's not necessarily believing in white. He doesn't fear the loss of Japheth autonomy. He doesn't fear that the way his base does. And his base is about 33% of the American population. It's not 43%. The other 10% onto that 43% of people that still support Trump are people who just hate Democrats or they hate Hillary. But they don't necessarily, if you could give them an alternative, like me, for instance, as president, they'd vote for me. I'm not running for president. I would never do anything as ridiculous as that. I'm already the Lord's servant. Why would I want to be president? But Trump's base is only about a good 30%, 33%. And he's going to lose some of that. He's going to lose some of that no matter what happens, during the vote on the House floor, and if it goes to the Senate floor. He's going to lose some of that, and the senators are going to feel it, and they can feel they can pounce on him. And you get 90 senators voting to impeach that orange-haired orangutan, that pathological degenerate, that public degenerate, that pathological liar. So that's what we have now. That's where we are now. InfoWars. Great title, Alex. Great title. Now we need to understand we're in cyber. We are at war. Pastor Butch Powell, my friend down in West Virginia, Somerville, Pastor Butch, we are at war with Russia. It's a cyber war. And the liberals are fighting the conservatives here in America in an information war, Alex Jones. And so it is. But it's over with for Trump. Impeach or not to impeach, the American people have spoken. And God spoke before them. I'm the Lord's servant telling you that we're in the tribulation, that you need to get your house together, you need to get your life in order. This is a bit of a news blog we do, looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting, rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.